As Christians, we tend to think that spiritual gifts are reserved for us. Or perhaps you think that you're not able to have some specific gifts. Either way, we tend to think that receiving is a special gift that only certain people have. But what if God is already talking to everyone? And the difference isn't just whether you receive, it's how clear of a channel you are and your ability to perceive. I went to a river in March to talk to the water, and what it told me changed my perception of spiritual communication and how we create. Welcome to Spirit Stories, Conversations with the Unseen. The unseen world is astonishing, glorious, and full of light. The beings there have stories to tell of Jesus, eternity, and the laws that govern all things. I'm Dr. Jen Bessire. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I gather these stories and share them with you. Thursday, March 26th, 1:18 p.m., Sunderbrook Park. This time, instead of hiking on a trail, I get the impression to go talk with the water. Away from the main hiking and mountain bike trails, I walk on a horse path that is flanked by prairie to my right and a small river on my left. Making my way to the water is easy, since the vegetation is still bare from winter. I stand at the water's edge and say a prayer, wondering if I'll meet the guardian of the space first. This is what I receive. Guardians are in all places and over all things, child. Unless they are spaces that are desolate and not ready to be reunited. All guardians who notice you will come to check you out to see if you are a threat or not, because that is their job. They protect the spaces, and so they want to know about you to see if they need to deal harshly with you or not. Guardians are warriors who fight with sword, not warriors who fight with the word of love and truth. Warriors are needed at different levels, and they serve different purposes. However, as you know, warriors are blessed when they defend, not when they seek to initiate attack. And so it is with the guardians of all of my spaces. They defend, they do not attack. Now, what would you like to know? I would like to hear the wisdom of this water and of this space. As you are aware, as I was pondering where to go or what to ask or what to collect for today, an image of this water popped into my mind, and I took that as the impression to come and speak with the water. Yes, very well. I close my eyes and I see images that look like small human forms that are attempting to come up from the water, not to separate from the water, but like they're beings that are made of water. And they're small, maybe 6 inches. And it's like they're drowning. They're gasping for air. They're struggling to get free and to get out. This water and this space holds many messages and many secrets, because there have not been many to receive, but now they no longer need to be secret, do they? I see the spirit world open more before me, and on my right there's, I don't know how it's there because it seems to be in the middle of space, but it's like there's a table with 6 people at it, enjoying and laughing and having a good time, having a meal together, being a little loud and rowdy, having a good time. Just below me to my left by the water, I see a man on hands and knees crawling like he's exhausted and worn out and needs a place to rest. The water carries messages. The water carries truths. The message of the water changes to follow suit. The water is a medium. The air is a medium. But the water is a medium, much like you are, child. For it carries messages, and those messages change as it moves and interacts with different things. That's why by the water you see many different apparitions appear, because the messages are constantly changing as the water takes the messages takes the message that it has and gathers more to it, filters it, sorts it, categorizes it, and continues to move forward. It can't hold all things because then it would not continue to flow. So it has to sort. And immediately I wonder, is there a process for this? How does that happen? The water has tubules that are their own intelligences. They are clarified and purified to varying degree. And that can change over time as the messages come through the water. But the tubules serve the purpose of filtering and sorting. How do they know what to filter and sort, what to keep and what to discard? Excellent question. They try to make sense of the messages, to take the incoming information and pair it with what is already there to make a more coherent story. It's kind of like playing cards and trying to gather everything of the same suit or to form a run so that there's order and structure. Remember, child, all that I do is to create order and structure. There is no disharmony or disorder in my realm. That is all. This message is very similar to teachings of those like Napoleon Hill, Wallace Wattles, and Thomas Troward, if you're familiar with any of them. The premise is that ideas are all around us, that thoughts are things, energetically, that are seeking expression. And this is what I see in this interaction and story with the water. The small beings trying to come up out of the water. These are messages that need someone who can receive them and convey them. The messages are there, whether we're aware of them or not, or in tune with them. The next step is to become more clear, more purified and cleansed, which changes the messages that we can receive. The tubules in the water filter and sort, just as we ourselves learn to filter and sort the incoming messages. When the tubules are compared with having intelligences, Wallace Wattles mentioned this as well, that there is a thinking stuff in the universe which all things are made of. This is also presented in the Doctrine and Covenants in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that spirit is intelligence, and that we were intelligences at some point before we were formed into the spirits that came to inhabit our bodies when we are born. So the question is not, is it okay for me to receive messages? Because everyone is surrounded by messages. The question then becomes, what type of channel am I? Literally, what type of medium am I? What is coming through me? How pure and clean are we so that we can receive the messages we desire? If we desire to receive messages of Jesus, our Savior and Redeemer, we must follow him. We must be baptized and keep the commandments. Here's another story that is a perfect example of a message trying to come through. 1 week prior to receiving this particular message from the water, I'm back at Sunderbrook, or I should say I'm at Sunderbrook, and I'm carrying my shoes as I walk along the horse trail. It's a beautiful afternoon, and a voice that is more like a feeling says, "Stop here." I stop, standing on a slight curve in the path, facing a small field of goldenrod that is still dead from last fall. As I listen, a poem starts. I didn't record it, so it is gone, but it was really beautiful. It was about living our purpose and finding our home from our hearts and our bones. Before it finishes, I take a few steps to continue walking, assuming that I will continue to receive. Stop, I'm not done. I turn around and come back a few steps. And instead of facing the goldenrod, I turn my back to it and am impressed to face the forest and the trees that are there. And an idea comes to my mind. Well, there must be a spirit behind this poem who wants it to come to me and through me into this physical plane. So as I close my eyes and tune in, I see a tall, thin man, probably in his early 30s, and he wants to continue his poem. Wait, I tell him, I have some questions for you. If I let you finish your poem, will you answer them after? No, he replies. Okay, then I will ask them now. I look a little more and I can see that the space behind him is busy with a lot of people, and it's more dark than light. Imagine a space with a lot of gray. It makes me think of spirit prison when I have met with those who have deceased and they share their stories. And I didn't record this conversation since I was already in the middle of it, but this is the gist of how it went. This man is trying to get his poem into this place, this physical world, but it is very hard for him. He can't move with me for some reason, and it's if there's a clear wall that keeps him from following me or even from moving toward me. And I ask him, do you know about Earth? And he does not. So mentally, I open up the space behind me, kind of like pulling open a curtain so that he can see more. He is astonished and he goes quiet. He's taking it all in. It's like this is the first time he's ever had an awareness of what is in this space. He doesn't realize who he's trying to talk to, and he doesn't realize that most people can't see or hear him. So it's like he's standing on one place trying to get a message across, but he has to wait for someone to walk across this little view, and that someone has to be able to be aware of him. And the odds of that, of course, are pretty small, and yet here I am. The next thing I ask him is, do you know about Jesus? And he does not. Now I know that there are missionaries in spirit prison, and they are usually seen as being of lights. So that's my next question. Are there beings who are light where you are, or even flashes of light? And yes, there are. I tell him, if you see them again, go and talk to them. They will help you understand more about Earth and what you're trying to understand and do. And with that, he finishes his poem, and we're unable to talk more because as soon as he finishes, he gets pulled back and the scene gets smaller and smaller and fades from my view. We are surrounded by an unseen world that is vast, more vast than we can even imagine. It is full of varying degrees of darkness and light, just as this physical world is. It is full of humans and other beings who are learning and growing, seeking for light or for darkness, just as your experience here on Earth. You are actually receiving messages from this unseen world every day in the form of thoughts, ideas, and images that come to your mind. They are seeking expression. Things want to be expressed into physical form on this earth. And you are a channel for that expression, the medium, literally, through which the spiritual energies come. Your job is to decide what you want to bring forth. And then, the more and more light you want to bring forth, the more you need to purify your body to be able to receive that. If you want that are things of darkness, or if that's what you've been programmed to receive or what you've inherited through your family lines, that's what's going to come through. If you're tired of the darkness, you simply need to seek after light bit by bit. And the true light is the light of Jesus Christ, who is the light, the life, and the truth. He is literally the light of our world. If you seek after him, he will guide you to the light that you need. As I sought after him years ago, he led me to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and to the Book of Mormon. Now, if you're familiar with the church, and if you're a member or not, you very well know that the church is not perfect. But nothing on earth is perfect. But I do know that the Book of Mormon is true, and that the church contains many truths that were lost. And I know that when we center our search for light on our Savior, he will give us the guidance and open up the path that we need to find the light for which we're seeking. Next time, we are going to talk about what happens to a land that has been inhabited by workers of sorcery and evil. And if you enjoyed this, come join my community where we talk about the gospel of the spirit world and creating a life of purpose and joy. Go to drjenbessire.com/group or click the link where the video is.